Hey everybody, we're going to do a little bit of electrical work on this thing. So, video and relatively fast, quick video, especially for me, on electrical diagnostics and a little bit of, diagnostic in general, because this is the first time really that I got a chance to really work on the machine. I always start up the same way. I get everything nice and clean, and yeah, I use super clean and whatever, but you got to get everything clean. First of all, I don't want the bugs and all the wildlife in my shop. Try to keep that out. Believe me, that gets bad. And that leads to the second part of what I'm about to say, which is cleaning all the electrical connections. So I'm going to show you some tips on what I do to clean electrical connections and going through them to make sure that I'm more comfortable with them being reliable. They may not even be a problem right now, but there's stuff lurking, gremlins, again, gremlins working and your electrical junk. We'll get, at least in this episode, we'll get this thing ready to fire the engine, and we'll just do a quick test fire. And then I'll have to take it in another episode to making the motor run properly and going through all of the other structures on the machine that need to all be working together, right, for it to be a worthy machine that somebody's going to plunk down some money on. So stay tuned. Let's get started. I can see closer inspection here, fellas. We gotta take those off and clean them. Right, there's all that rust. That's your solenoid right there, so we need to do that. Right, this time I'm using a little bit different acid, but I've got the acid on and I'm working with my wire brush. I'll show you this one when I'm done, but you could see all the rust on it? Now we could probably put some new nuts on that if I have them. If not, right, that's one indication. You can see both sides. Well, this one's not too bad, but the other one is shot. All right, it's nice and clean. So what I do to neutralize everything is I just spray my soapy water. I always keep some like Dawn detergent, and that's great for neutralizing, checking leaks like I just did. All right, now we can bolt this back together. To finish up, I'll probably put a little chain wax on everything, right? All right, same thing here. Now before we put, the battery on, it's just a light acid. I generally don't like to get it on me, but I'm going to rinse it off my fingers. And that's what the soap is for. And I just usually just let that sit for a bit. Since we did the solenoid, now normally I like to take the solenoid off and because it's grounded through the bolts that hold it on. But not this time. All right, that should be good. I'm going to do these up and let's go get the battery. All right, and just wipe it off. It'll leave like a zinc coating. And that's just the soapy water. It'll neutralize whatever. Oh, look at that. Something else we gotta fix. What, did it break? Yeah, the bolt broke in there. We might be able to fix that. All right, one thing at a time. I always like to put the positive on first. You're not gonna be able to see very well because it's shadowy. It's a shadowy figure. Then we'll put the negative on, because this way if you touch the chassis, you get no blammo. So what I want to do is I just want to crank it, maybe see if it farts. I got to check the oil. All right, so now I can't get the engine to crank because we need to get this into park, and it won't go all the way down. Right, we're nowhere near close, so we need to get that whole mechanism, wherever it is underneath there, to free up a little bit more. And look, I see a spring. That's broken, and that's jammed on there. How did that go? How is that supposed to go? We'll have to look at the other machine. Probably comes to, well, we'll look at the other machine, but yeah, that's broken. That's probably why it's jammed. So like I said, as I stick my face and everything, all right, let's let this thing down. We gotta put it up on its butt, and we'll lube up with some oil and some spray lube, everything underneath there as much as we can. All right, fellas, now unfortunately I put the battery in. We can't leave it up like that. Now, it's not a standard lead acid battery. It is kind of sealed, but they recommend no more than like 2 hours, whatever. It could leak. So let's get all this off. I'm going to use some of my chain cable lube, and I already hit some of it with oil. Just a number of spots. Now, looks like everything is pretty good here. Not sure why it would be freezing up. I want to try to get any pivot point. There's quite a number of them. Can I get this one? How do I get this one back there? There's a pivot point back there. Anything that moves. See? That's going good. That looks good. Yeah. Almost. Now maybe I think if I stand on it with my foot, it should be okay now. All right, now to go over troubleshooting the electrical. So we know we've done all the contacts over here. The only thing that I haven't done over on the solenoid, and I'm just going to back up a little bit, is the ground. So I know if I'm pointing to it, you may not be able to see it, but it's over there, right, where we were. I tried moving the bolt, but it doesn't really want to come up. There's not a lot of room to work. If we have to come back to that, fine, because the solenoid body is grounded, and that's where your ground is. This is pretty nasty. We're going to start off with putting some of my favorite acid in that. Now, I don't know if the switch is good, but we're going to, now, like I said, now that we've done the solenoid, we're going to go to the switch. Make sure the switch is good. Make sure all the contacts are good. We'll bench test the switch. We'll lubricate the switch. It's really sticky. I already cleaned the key. By the way, that's important. Now, this is my Alumabrite stuff that I often talk about. Sometimes I use the auto body acid, but this is really better for contacts and such. And we want to make sure we really get everything clean. See how nasty that looks? We'll clean that up too. Okay. We'll take our wire wheel, or wire brush rather, and I'm going to kind of clean up this whole switch, even in here a little bit. All right, put the key in and turn the contacts, and then we're going to lubricate it with transmission fluid, and I'll show you what I want to do there in a bit. All right, I cleaned this up real good with that cleaner, wire brush, just hitting it, and now I'm just going to take a little bit of my tranny fluid. This is just like used tranny fluid, and I'll try to. Tranny fluid is really good because it's got all these cleaners in it. It's got detergents in it. We're trying to get the transmission fluid. You can let it soak in there too, and just clean up these contacts a bit. Try to pour it in there. Now roll it back. Roll it back and forth. Blot it dry, and then we'll test it, okay, in a minute. I'm going to clean the key. All right, that should be good. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Let me clean this up. All right, I think this will probably be the last thing I do tonight because I'm getting tired, but let's just grab, I have it on beep. You should be able to hear that. Yeah, I think it did. I could see the, oh yeah, I could see the progress bar on the VU meter. Let's just clamp one. This is not my good meter. I killed my good meter. So we have BMS, and this is ground. So let's try a couple of things. Let's just first try the ground. So it's off, right? Then, no, wait, that's off. So we with the ignition on, it should be a run. Okay, so let's try this guy. Just trying a few different things just to see. I'm just guessing. Okay, now with it off, one of these is going to be, I think, grounded. See, that one there. So the M is grounded. So M is, this is the ground tab. M is grounded, and when you turn it on, it lifts the ground. Because when you ground the coil, the engine shuts off. All right, so now we want to go to the start button. And we have to kind of find a way to hold it to start. So we need to figure out which one is going to complete the circuit. I may not be able to do that. So let's get another little alligator. Well, I don't think it's going to be a ground tab, because that would make sense, because we got to pass power to the solenoid. So there should be a B positive somewhere. So I'm going to say B is battery because there's a B here. Let's say that B is battery and S is start, right? Makes sense, right? All right, listen. Yep. All right, this switch works. Okay, it's working, it's lubricated. We'll put it back. I'll check I want to finish cleaning the contacts. Contact! And then we'll put the switch back on, and then maybe I'm done for tonight. Okay, you can use contact cleaner or brake cleaner. Putting a little bit of like chain wax on, right? And that'll keep it nice for a long time. All right, now we can put this back on. Yeah, that doesn't fit as good as I'd like. See how it kind of like falls off? So what we want to do, it's not the lube that's doing it. We need to pick how are we going to do that? Let me get a pick. If I can get a pick in there, I think we can fix that. It's a dental pick, and so the idea is to try to get in between. It's like a piece folded over. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. All right, I got to get in where you are. Let me see how I can do that. Okay, on this one I can release the lock. See how nice and clean that got it? That's perfect. Now, as I can release the lock, I can get up in here and just pick it up a little bit and slip it into here too. If I can. I don't want to poke my finger. Also, we can get the flaps on the sides. Just tuck them in the middle a little bit, or towards the back. Yeah, that's it. Just careful. Put your glasses on if you gotta see. All right, so I'm gonna do all, yeah, that's perfect. We'll do all of these, and we'll slip it back in. So that's the top one. All right, and I'm gonna grab the blue one and just poke that lock. Okay. Yeah. Let's pick that up a little. Yeah, that's good. That's what I wanted to do with this one. All right, I'll be back in a bit. Let's see. So this is all part of it, guys. Like, you gotta make sure things are right. Yeah, that feels good. Yeah, that's on there. All right, now we'll get this guy. That's your ground. That feels good. Okay, now I think it's got, yeah, it should have a detent on it. Yeah, there's the detent. It's a flat right here. Oh, I just dropped the nut. Plenty of lubricant in it. If you want, we'll put a little bit of chain lube in. I mean, it should have had everything else in there too, but training fluid, but just to make, yeah, it's just fine. All right, so tomorrow we'll take it the rest of the way.
The next day.
Now, you fellas might be asking some questions of yourselves, is that maybe, why do I do this that way, or why am I doing it this way, or what does that have to do with electrical? I just want to back up a little bit for a minute and just kind of tell you guys a little bit about like how I do things and why I do it. Now, this machine is new to me, and so it's, as I'm getting into it, it's really the first time I've had a chance to really work on it. And as I'm noodling around with the electrical system, I'm also, you might see me noodling around with something else. Why? Because stuff is just popping right up into my face. I'm seeing, there's nothing seriously wrong with this machine, but there's a lot of little things that I keep finding, and some of which I may want to stop and address as of that moment. They may be pertinent. For example, if a lever, like that lever over there, was not moving, the brake lever, well, it's not going to disengage. There's a switch down there, and it's not going to disengage it. So therefore, you won't have a start condition. So we've got to make sure that that lever is able to move all the way. Now I know that this lever is moving a little bit more now, but I know why it's not moving, and we'll get to that. And I could have stopped and just dealt with that while it was up. But I'm trying to stay a little bit more on point for you fellas. I might have gone and done it, right? Because I know I'll get it working. And I know I'll get the electric to fire off. And you might be asking, well, why can't we just find that stuff with the meter and not have to clean all these contacts and maybe not have to lubricate it? And yeah, you might be able to get away with that. But I'm the kind of mechanic that I know that this thing's, all these things, like it comes to me, it's unknown. And usually Mikey, let's say Mikey, I got this from Mikey. Mikey will get it. He'll buy a whole bunch of machines, maybe in a lot or whatever. Mike!
What's up?
What's up, brother, man?
What's happening?
Oh, let's see what Mike's got. Look at how clean his truck is.
cleaned
The
it,
new
so
got
it
nice rims.
But
So this is junk.
everything's junk besides this.
And I see something nice over there. Hold on, we'll get to that. And then check this thing out, guys. Look at this thing. That is cool, right?
This is cool.
I don't know if I want to sell that. I remember these. Oh my God, I don't think I want to sell this.
I knew you like it.
And he'll go through them, and if it's something that he can kind of deal with a little bit quicker, or if he's just not into it, or if it's not really something that he's that familiar with, those are time wasters for him. And it's a smart move to say, man's got
to know his limitations.
So he'll say, all right, I'm not gonna make money on that. Let me sell it. And either he sells it to me, or he sells it to somebody else. And whatever he makes on it, if he makes a few bucks, he didn't lose any money. And rule of business number one, right, is try not to lose money. So there's that, and so I get the thing, and it's got all these problems with it, but it's in fairly good shape overall. And a lot of them I get that are like this. In the case of doing an electrical scenario, I want to be able to sell a good, reliable machine. And whether it's for myself, where I want to be able to know that I can get something done and not have to revisit it for a while, because stuff crops back, over the years if you live long enough. So I know I've covered certain bases, and that's done. That solenoid should be good. That switch should be good. That other switch down there for the clutch brake, that should be good. It seems like it's engaging. It feels good. I lubricated some stuff over here off camera, and I've been noodling around with it. So I want to make sure that I don't have to return to these areas that I've tested them. Now the next thing we're going to go to now is this one has a seat switch on it. And a lot of people disconnect them. There may be something wrong with it. Either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to disconnect it. Why? Because I can't sit on it and fool around at the same time. So let's go underneath. We're going to have to take the seat off at some point. And I already noticed that the bolts are 3/4 of the way out. They're really rusted. There's rust under the seat. They've been sitting in water. Good luck. All right. Good luck getting that seat off. We may not be able to tighten the seat. We may not be able to get it to move again. One of the problems with that is that if you break the bolts on it, you can't weld. You can't weld unless you can find a way to get the seat padding off. And I know the seat pan is rotting. So let's go climb underneath. I'm going to go disconnect that switch, and we'll see if it cranks, or we may have to bypass the switch. It depends upon whether it's regular logic or reverse logic. Regular logic is if you close something, you make a contact, and the current flows. Reverse logic is the other way, okay? And if it's grounding something out, or if it's got a solenoid in there somewhere, or a relay or something, and it works the opposite way. If the contact is made, nothing can happen. It holds out a circuit. So usually these need to be bypassed, just with the jumper cable. So let's get started on that. Now here's the C connector, and I can see somebody broke it. Right, so that's the lock, and you might be able to see in it, but it's all cooked up. Right? It's full of that sort of bluish fuzz. So we're going to take our chemical. I'm going to put it in there, and then we're going to take a paper clip, and we're just going to bypass it. All right, I got my paper clip in here. It's not a paper clip; it's a paper clip. Paper. It's a blessed bada See? Now let's give it a kick. Let's just see. I'm not going to try to start it yet. We're just going to kick it. Still nothing. Okay. So we know. Now what we want to look for now is we want to try to find out. This is some simple tips. So what we need to do now is find out where the power is going to. and where it's not. Now, although this is not my immediate problem, the lock on this is it actually came out. So we got to tweak that lock out and push that back in. But that is not my immediate problem. And this should be the battery. So that should be, we're going to leave it off for now. Much. Just to test it. So this is our battery lead. Okay. Just a simple light. So I'm going to go poke around. There's a fuse over here I want to show you. There's a fuse system over here. So we want to check that. Well, let's just pull this off. Now some of these connectors might be bad, right? Because we saw signs of potential issues in here. So let's just see if we've got power. It's connected, so nope. Okay, so we got an issue with this little fuse panel here. I went in there and I took a peek and it didn't look like it was burned. But these are the slow blows. And although we don't see any black or anything, we could test it with the ohm meter and see. Let me go see if I can find another fuse and I'll test this. 10 amp fuse in. And you see the bulb over there. Okay? All right, so now we can move forward. All right, fellas, the last thing I did was, now this is the lead coming out of the, essentially the stator or generator, which is really an alternator. So I cleaned that up with my juice, blew it out, put a little bit of chain wax in there, and also this, I checked this, cleaned it up, and it was a little loose. So that's why I say you want to go over everything. It was a little bit loose. I can also see it's kind of rubbing on the cable over here, and we need to fix that, and it was trying to rub on the tire, so we'll come back to that. So that's tight. I sprayed out a little bit of chain wax. That should be good. All right, let's just give it a little check. There we go. All right, let's just see if we can fire it.
I'm going back.
All right. Oh, watch out. It's a little low on oil because for some reason or other this got knocked and it drained out a little bit of oil, but we have enough to fire it. We're not gonna try to run her. I'm just gonna put a little two-stroke in there to help it out. See if it takes it. And I think I'm looking down in there. Let me get my flashlight. All right, we're open. It looks like there's a little bit of junk in there. Let's put a little bit more in. See if it sucks on it. All right, let's see. This is a little bit broken. So we're just gonna kind of bring it off idle. All right, and just see if it kicks. Yeah, she's trying to kick. Yeah, she's trying to kick. Some of this stuff is leaking out of here. This tube is not on. That's the vent tube. Okay. Yeah, she's flaming. Yeah, she's flaming. All right, so there's some kind of reversion going on. We need to check the valves. There's flame in there, and it was hanging out in there too. So we need to check the valves. But sounds like we have a potential winner here. Okay, fellas, that's it for this one. Just some, tips and tricks. What I do to do a bit of diagnostic work, electrical diagnostic work, just in general diagnostic work on one of these machines or any machine, whether it's a tractor or whatever, but anything with an electrical system. They're pretty much the same, right? They lay out the same way. They're all going to have a solenoid. Not getting too involved, right? But just some basic tips and tricks. And then as I go forward, I'll have others to do, and there's other machines that I've worked on as well. But I figured I would just kind of put this in its own compartmented video just to make things a little bit easier. I'll see you guys on the next one, and hit the like and subscribe button. Let's build the channel.